mean, are we just not thinking of something that... I want to make sure it works on there now. I could get him planting with a different variety.
Just failed. Right there, Dad.
You don't crank it and see if it'll work.
Split out. See if it'll work.
Oh yeah, that sucker's gonna work now like a top. I told you could fix it. Oh buddy. All this work. All that for nothing. Those 48 rows on your place and this one, and then we like the back Finley. That's all we like here. Come back, if you don't get your ditcher and do this little bit, it's just one field in those two 48 rows, and then we'll finish up at tiller.
I've got a gut feeling this is going to be a good year. The farmer is the eternal optimist.
We farm together as a family. If we all put our heads together, I don't know what we couldn't achieve.
Hopefully we hit 90 bushel. I think we could do it. Just have healthy plants and a good return on investment.
One of the worst things about farming is making a decision on planting depth. A 1/4 of an inch on your depth, sometimes you won't get a stand.
As you can see, my pinky ring's empty, so obviously I didn't win. With this class of guys that's in Podfathers, I mean, anyone could win.
Well, that showed you, so it wouldn't work. So we're thinking electrical, because yesterday on this seed cart, the same thing happened, it was electrical. So we spent an hour tracing down wires, cutting wires, moved the solenoid from one to the other, and it was a set screw in the shaft that runs the motor the whole time. And Daniel's the one that figured that out. So a lot of times you can work really hard on something for a long time and it not be the right thing. One hopper?
Yeah. Well, I know one in a dead hopper.
We don't have about a 5-gallon bucket left. All right, look, can we put it in? We can put them in there, can't we? You can't put any more in there? $10-4. I'm gonna get Daniel, as soon as David Earl plants down, there's about 2 bags left in this cart. As soon as David Earl plants down where he can get those in it, I'm gonna send Daniel up there. And you'll have to go in there in the warehouse and find them. They're in the middle bay. There's some AgriGold 4820s in black, in black boxes. There's a bunch of AgriGold bean seed in there, but the 4820s is what I need. And get a couple of those out where when he gets there, we can dump 2 boxes in the front hopper. Or, I'll tell you what, he can swap carts. There's one cart there that he can put them in. This cart that he's got now needs a set screw in the splines on the PTO shaft that runs the auger. It's a different cart. We took the solenoid off, it wouldn't run. We took the solenoid off, put booster cables on it, took the battery off, all that, and Daniel walked up there and said that it's spinning on the shaft. So we slipped it back, the collar back on there, it's working, but I've got Podfather team here, so Lane and I are gonna be a little bit tied up, but I wanna continue to keep everything going. We planted 1,000 acres yesterday. Between the rice, the corn, and the cotton, we planted 1,000 acres. You gotta know what the next guy's fixing to do. Like, I'll have to go up here in a little bit, me or someone, and load another one of these seed carts with the next variety. See, right here this morning, we'll end up planting 3 different varieties of soybeans, depending on soil type. So I've got this planter running on more clay type soils, and then I've got the planter that's over there on the other side of the bow running on more sandy soils. He's gonna end up getting straight black dirt, so he'll go from the variety he's planting now to a black dirt variety, which is our heaviest clay. And then I'll keep this planter moving around on the sand. And then we should finish here middle afternoon, and then we'll move about 8 miles from here to another farm. It's about 800 acres, and start on that. Then the planter that just finished corn last night, The guy that's running it's going to help do the strip trial because y'all are here today. That puts a short one man with Lane being here. And so he's going to help do the strip trial. When he gets through with that, then he'll bring his planter back home 20 miles, change all of his plates from corn to beans, and he'll be planting beans by this afternoon. There was 3 planters on corn, 2 on beans yesterday. Today I'll have 3 on beans and actually 1 on corn because the other one will stop. Corn should be done mid-afternoon, even with just the 1 planter.
How many acres of beans do you have left?
There's 4,200 and we've planted 1,800. So what does that leave? 2,400, I guess. Now we'll start getting cotton ground ready. So the next thing that'll happen with all of our tillage tools is they'll start getting the cotton ground ready. One set of them are finishing the beans down south, finishing the bean ground. So when we get there, the bean ground will be ready to go. I like to get the ground prepared early since we do have to till. If we can be, a week ahead of the planters, then you don't have to worry about something breaking down, stopping the planter. Planters can just run until they break down. It's kind of a system, and if you don't follow the system, then it just seems like it kind of gets everything jumbled up. This year's been wet, so we've had to improvise some. It's just like last year, except we're getting a few more spots in there to do it. Last year we'd get 1 to 2 days a week, then it might rain for 10 days, and we get another day. This year's kind of the same way, but not as bad. We've been able to get more done. I did buy another planter though. The planter that you've got the GoPros on over there, I bought that planter specifically to plant beans the same time I'm planting corn. You asked me last year what I was if I was going to change anything, and I said I was going to plant my corn later and my beans earlier, and that's kind of what we've done. Now the basis premiums we can get this year with corn and beans is making us want to plant early. I think it's going to pay us to plant early because of the inversions in the market. So we're still trying to get everything in as early as we can. I feel like on these beans we're planting now, we should get them off in August, and there should be $1 plus premium a bushel just by having August delivery. So that's what we're hoping for anyway. We can go look at the burnt tractor today if you want to too, and we can do a little section maybe on safety. All right, so what I did, I sent Chris on to Boydell so that he could get that command out before the wind gets too high there at the monument. So I told him to go do that. When he got finished with that, then come back, get on the ditcher. He's gonna take his ditcher and come over here and do these few fields and go to tiller and catch that up. If we don't, we're gonna forget about it. So that's where he is. We've got to get 4820s next. If we can get this one empty, he's already hooked to it. I don't know what to do with it. We'll figure something out. That's what I think I'm gonna do. I'm gonna have him follow you down there, let you plant 2 or 3 rounds, pump the rest of it in you. Then we'll be able to take this cart and go get the other seed. We gotta get the 4820s, and I need to figure out how much. That's the same tractor, Seth, that me and you were on earlier. We had a bad weekend, but we also had a miracle at the same time, to be honest with you. As you can see behind me, this tractor, $350,000 tractor, or it was. This weekend, the operator came between this big country pole that's behind us and this water hydrant and was trying to weave through this. And as you see over there, there was a telephone pole, and he caught the guide wire of the telephone pole. So when he caught the guide wire of the telephone pole broke, put the hot wires on the right-hand side of the tractor on the tires, and it started sparking, it started catching on fire. Now the worst thing you want to do is jump off of a tractor when there's electric current going through it and it's grounded to the ground. In normal situations, it'll kill you. They said it was 16,000 volts coming that was laying on that tractor. He had no choice but to try to bail off. It was that or be in that tractor. So he jumps off the tractor, gets a small shock, small tingling feeling. Nothing major, was 100% fine. So that's the miracle of the story. We lost a really nice tractor, but we saved a really good man. So, just be careful. We get in such a hurry trying to get things done in a timely manner that sometimes we overlook safety. So I've never had a piece of equipment burn in my life. Lane had a combine catch on fire one time and we got it put out relatively easy. And other than that, this is the first bout with fire that we've had. Of course, we've got good Farm Bureau insurance, so that'll kick in, but it's not about that. It's not about the value of this tractor, but it's more about the value of life. And you know, and everybody that works here is like family to me, so it hit us pretty hard just thinking of what could have happened. So good Lord took care of him when he jumped off. We are very thankful for that, thankful he's safe, and just slow down is all I can tell you, and take the extra time it takes to be safe. Hope this never happens to you and hope it never happens to us again.
We want the bottom canopy to be healthy with a good fungicide. We use Revitec on it. It's really going to help that bean finish off strong.
But on our farm, we got to average a 6 bushel better with the Revitec fungicide than any other fungicide.
Probably absent of disease just because we've got the Revitec out here, but just mainly for the plant health.
The one thing that is a must, that's this product right here. Reducing stress adds bushels.
Doing a lot of different trials, and one of them is Concept Agritech. We're doing a in-furrow starter trial. We've got Carbo Start, another one of their products.
Sweet Success is their sugar product.
Throughout the season, we are also going to be using some of their foliar products, thinking that the payback will be bigger. The thing I'm the most excited to try is a bunch of bugs. It's a biological. We're excited to see how they work out.
Good morning. It's a nice day today. It'd be dry enough to plant tomorrow, but unfortunately it's supposed to rain tonight. So that's the way it is. Temperature is probably 70, 72. It's really nice. It's supposed to cool off back in the 60s and high 40s next week. Well, that'll slow things down a little bit. We're ready. We got all our equipment out. Everything worked pretty good, making the final adjustments. So when it does dry out, we can get back in the field and we won't look back. A lot of our fertility products come in and soil amendments, like all this Monty stuff. We've got a truckload of boron, we got a truckload of zinc, we got our secret stuff. Not really, but we do have some stuff in there that we'll add to our tuba 2 stuff. That's what he's mixing right here. Been wet, had pretty good run on the corn planting. Brought the planters in to go through them, tweak a few things. We did that yesterday. We put out our tuba 2 with the conceal system. Works real well for us. These are exact emerge planters, so we can plant from, you know, they'll plant up to 12 miles an hour, but that's just too fast, in my opinion, to monitor everything. If you're going 12 miles an hour, you just really need your seat belt and hang on for your life. So we plant in that 7.5 mile an hour range, monitor everything, does a great job. This year, because of our ever-growing or increasing nematode problem, we're putting a granular insecticide in furrow to help with that. And along with our tuba 2, we're putting in additional zinc, additional boron, and some humic acid. Keep that corn where it does not have a bad day and lead to a big yield. Got at least 50 center pivots irrigation systems, and I bought 30 tires, hopefully get us through the year. Last year I remembered I bought 20 and we ran out of tires. It's a lot easier to fix tires and have them in inventory to use in season when it's 70 degrees versus 90 degrees. We've about got it down to a science. It doesn't actually take long to change them. The problem is getting it out into the middle of the corn. If it's 12-foot or 13-foot tall corn and 90 or 95 degrees, it's a pretty good chore rolling that thing out there. Our first truckload of Monty's product came in for the year. Calcium Plus, which is their liquid carbon, plus a little bit of calcium. We got some Midnight on there, which is a 10-8-4 plus iron, zinc, and sulfur, which I love that combination. Surge, which is our fulvic acid we use for mainly foliar applications. So excited about that coming. Okay, so today there's a big day on the farm. Got a lot going on. We've been in the field for a few days. Today, our first truckload of Monty's products showed up. So everyone else is busy, so I'm unloading it. You gonna get your doors? We're gonna eat crawfish for lunch down here at the farm shop. I think we're planning for about 25. A lot of corn planting going on around here, and doesn't matter where you look. If there's a Podfather or Corn Warrior involved, AgriGold there as well. So we've been planting AgriGold corn seed for years, and it just does great for us. So I always look forward to working with them and the quality seed we get, and it is the highest quality seed that I plant. Consistent seed size and goes through the planter just like it's supposed to. Give us a good picket fence stand. Got a little bit of farm work done, but a lot more to go. And today it's actually wet, so we thought we'd take some time to sit down with my crop consultant, Joey Branch with Pro Ag Services, as well as our BASF rep, Jimmy Pongetti. And glad to have him here as well as Joey, and we're gonna talk about soybean strategy, production strategy, or part of it at least. Anytime we get a chance to go across the field early especially, we need a residual herbicide. So right at planting, we will typically come with a group 15, such as the Outlook or Zidua, along with 4 to 5 ounces of metribuzin. Historically, I never used it, but in the last few years with all this resistance, we feel like we've got to put it in there most of the times, so we put in a low rate. It's early in the year. We'll talk about burn down real quick, which is typically paraquat or glyphosate mixed with 2,4-D or dicamba. Maybe some plant back concerns, but Jimmy may elaborate on that. 1 ounce, there's basically no concern.
Well, 1 ounce is fine, like you said. On most soils, you can plant back immediately. 2 ounces, you're gonna need to wait, 30 days.
And along with that same shot, we'll put in a little, typically paraquat behind the planter. It's very inexpensive. Put it in there, start clean.
I think you're exactly right. You do everything you can up front to start clean. That's the best chance you've got. That's the best opportunity you've got to keep that field clean.
Getting that early application done and just making sure we stay ahead of the game, because once we get behind the weed, it's very tough to catch up.
So yeah, that'll go a long way, and that'll actually move us all the way into fungicide. I think I'm on record as saying I used Revitec on every acre last year, and I did, and I intend on using it again this year.
Revitec's a brand new chemistry introduced about 2 years ago, or a brand new product. It's got 3 modes of action. Of course, it's got the one that started it all on Headline, which is a Strobe, and then of course it's got Xemium, which is part of the Preaxor that you've used before in the past, and then it's got a brand new active, a Trizol, which is called Revasol. So all 3 of those together is Revitec. You got great preventative as well as curative action, plus you've got the plant health benefits. Anything to keep that plant moving forward, anything that stresses it, whether that's heat stress or drought stress or disease stress, is impacting that plant's potential yield. And so anything you can do to keep that plant less stressed is more energy to put toward yield. Your plant is respirating, breathing, and when it gets in a stress situation, heat stress, let's say, it's wanting to conserve its energy, okay? And so it tends to, say, start shutting down. Well, with the plant health aspect of Revitec, the stomates actually remain open, which allows that plant to continue to breathe, if you will, which basically means less stress, which means more energy to be targeted toward yield.
But the only thing I might add, now we're talking about an R2, R3 application that should and will last full season. But I have seen a benefit and proven to myself on several occasions, a second fungicide application at R5.
Yes, I mean, typically an R3 is your money shot. You know, that's where you're gonna get your biggest bang for the buck. But an R5 application brings additional yield benefit. Plus, it also is a quality shot. So, you know, from a seed production standpoint, that's really important too.
If we're going to use, I'm going to say 2 to 4 ounces of Preaxor. I don't know if you got the Revitec out there, I don't know if you need the full 4 ounces of Preaxor, but 2 ounces of Preaxor at R5, and that's a great time to come in and put in some additional potash or something, depending on what your tissue test. All right, so I'm sitting back up now. Brittany's in the room, I'm wide open. So here in about 15 minutes, we put in a crop, taking it all the way to harvest with Joey's expertise, Jimmy's expertise, and BASF products. It's a great combination, and looking forward to seeing y'all in a few days. And $14 beans makes this a lot easier. All right, so we're over here at the older system, and we're going to talk about this dryer for a minute. First, I'd point out this 27,000 bushel wet storage hopper tank, and then behind it is the, I think, 9,500 bushels. It wasn't quite big enough, so now we utilize both of them. Feeding this 23-26 dryer through this leg and some other conveyors and back into the system so we can get it ready for market. So I don't know, Sid, you got any comments on that dryer?
That's a late model 23-26. It's a propane model. It has the new vision control automation system on it. It's running 7-inch metering rolls, which is a fairly new addition for GSI. It's a top-end dryer.
Is it better than Matt Miles' dryer?
Yes, it's better than Matt Miles' dryer. Matt Miles' dryer doesn't have anything on this dryer. What I have learned about these dryers, and I've been fooling with them for, I don't know, 10 years now. In the South, it's hard, with the humidity we have, it's hard to make the numbers match up. So we've got the humidity and the heat going in, so it just makes it a little more difficult to dry. I guess, again, thanks for Sid coming out and talking about these systems and the new system, and look forward to the next few months while the project's underway.
It'll come on. If I can get Perry, get the site ready, we'll get after it.
Oh, and that's in my ballpark. So last September I bought belted Galloways. These are belted Galloways. They're heritage breed. They're from Scotland. And by the next Monday I had 13. Chloe had a baby. This is the bull tiger, and they're really tame. You can do whatever you want to them. I hadn't tried to ride them, but they're pretty tame. They love treats. So let me grab a handful of treats. Most cattle wouldn't let you do that. So these are all the yearling heifers. All right, let's go see the other ones real quick before the rain.
Ran the Copperhead Pearl Cruiser this year. Been very good, very happy with it. A lot more aggressive on the closing. We got so many different soil types. That's what I like about the Furrow Cruiser. It works in all of them well. And this is 2 seasons ran on this, and you can see virtual no wear at all. Just a simple addition to the planter for better closing.
We got some Monty's product. We use it in a lot of other crops. It's a changer. Monty's.
That's what our carbon and the AgriSuite is doing, is breaking down that phosphorus that's in the soil and making it available to these plants, and it's showing.
We focus on things that complement soil biology, things that complement soil health.
Monty's liquid carbon, it just keeps giving back.
What's going on, Grant?
What's going on? Good to
How are
see
you? Glad to be here.
This is Chad.
Chad, how are you? Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you.
This is Mark.
Mark, how you doing? Temple Roots. Nice to meet you. So I guess welcome to season 2 of the Podfathers, right, guys? Right. Excited.
Oh yeah.
Maybe I won't come in second this year.
I don't think you will.
Maybe I can drag you down with me.
Yeah.
So what are we going to look at today? We're going to go look at some fields?
We are. Good. Mud.
Is it muddy here?
Very. This part used to be the poor farm. There used to be a house over there. People would come and stay here and work on the farm, and then the county owned it. And then it went to West Virginia University, Potomac State, and we acquired it a few years ago. And our family farm starts right down there at that line. And I always came up as a kid and enjoyed agriculture. And
so your family's from here, you kind of started here, you ended up back here.
Yeah.
Then you got into doing some NCGA trials, and you won West Virginia?
Yeah, we won West Virginia and we won Maryland last year, irrigated and non-irrigated. And we're in West Virginia right now. As soon as we go across the other bridge, we're back in Maryland.
Like, what kind of challenge do you face? Do you feel like you are having trouble getting to a yield on your soybeans?
So the biggest thing I think we have is sunlight with the mountains. And we do get some wind coming down through here. It's been a while since we've had a drought. It seems like, I put 8 pivots in. Ever since we put them in, it seems like we've gotten so much rain that we don't need them.
Well, when you make your most amount of money with irrigation is when you don't turn it on.
Yep.
But so you're not pulling out an aquifer or anything. So where's your water source?
We're pulling out of the Potomac. We have permits. Yep. We pull out of the Potomac. Yeah. Another biggest battle we have is getting our equipment across to the other side. You got to take logging roads to get around. It can be challenging.
So you run equipment down some of these logging roads to come through the mountains?
Yep.
I'm afraid to go down a small hill at home. Like, that's crazy to me.
Well, let's go hit the fields and see what we got down there, see if the ground's any good.
Okay.
So this is our chemical building we built this year. Mark built it. We never had a good place to store everything. Didn't have fresh water all the time, so now everything's in one spot and it'll make it a lot easier.
Are you making it so you can blend your own fertilizers, or you're not really worried about blending your own fertilizer? You're mainly, this is just your fill point, and then you can put your whatever chemicals and stuff you want on. And then
I'm doing mostly custom blending straight before it comes down here. We're running the Soil Warrior this year, so we're putting a good bit of liquid potash down through the Warrior system.
What is your planting date that you're looking for? Do you have this is when I want, is go time?
I wouldn't say I have an ideal planting date sitting here today. I'm basing it more off of a 10-day forecast, so I have guys that have already planted corn and beans. That cold, wet rain we've had the past couple days really concerns me.
Yeah, I'm glad we don't have anything in. When the 10-day, it's in the 40s and in the evening.
What does your next 10 days look like?
It's the cold rain that concerns me more than anything. I don't care even soil temperatures. If we had 45-degree soil temperatures out there and the 10-day we're warming up to 60 degrees, I wouldn't be afraid to cut it loose. If we're sitting at 60-degree soil temperatures and we're cooling down to 45 over a 10-day period, that's a big no-no for me.
Well, we look at the same type of thing. If we get to a point where we're a little bit nervous, you see people, if they're planting corn like crazy, we'll shut down. And it's the hardest thing in the world to do, to sit there and watch your neighbor mowing down corn, just letting her go. and you're like, I'm gonna park it for a little while?
The earliest we ever planted was corn, April 15th. That was probably 7 years ago. And some of the best corn we had. But with the weather that we've had, it's been so wet. And like I said, the 10-day, it looks pretty chilly at night. So we're concerned about that up in the mountains. You know,
Well, I mean, you don't, like I talked to you that one day and I'm like, when does the sun actually hit these fields? And when you told me what time of morning it is when sun actually sets on these fields, is like,
it's about 11 o'clock for the
yeah,
dew.
I mean, that's crazy.
I think that's probably our biggest struggle on corn here, you know, to obtain the near 300 we've been getting.
I think our biggest problem is disease. With the dew in the mornings and the fog we get in these valleys,
I can imagine.
with the river being there.
Because it's like it never stops being wet, does it?
Yeah.
That was what, 3 years ago, pre-spraying with a planter, and you never got back on the field to put a drop of nitrogen down, so we ended up with between 100 and 120 units of nitrogen out there. Corn just cannibalized. I mean, it was flat on the ground because there was 200 plus bushel ears out there that never had nitrogen to finish it out. He couldn't get on any ground.
It cannibalized the stalk and they fell down. But do you fertigate a lot of your nitrogen on the corn, but you can't seem to get on? Can you speed up your irrigation and put on like a 1/10?
2/10 is the lowest I can go. That's my problem. And yeah, we've done fertigation, and we've put a lot of fungicide through it, and we got rain, and it's hard to turn the pivot on when you got an inch of rain and you need to get that, you know, fungicide out. It takes a toll.
In all honesty, we've been running, I'll call it a base program. I mean, Grant has definitely pushed beans down here, but talking with you and what you're doing, that's what I'm most excited about, because I'm a firm believer with corn, you never stress a day in its life to achieve yields, where beans, I think they actually respond to those stresses up till pre-reproductive stages. And you know, we really haven't done anything up to that point besides just high management in a sense to achieve those yields.
Maybe I can take what you've done on some of your ground and apply it to what I'm doing at home with corn and stuff, and maybe you can take some stuff that and maybe we can just learn it together.
Right, definitely. Let's go check the bean field out and the corn field that we won last year in the state of Maryland.
Okay. All right,
And it's irrigated, so we can go check it out and get the lay of the land. So this is the field we won last year, the corn contest. We split the field. Half of it was no-till, half of it was tilled. I got 296, and that's our average. My dad got 288, but those are our field averages. We don't do test plots. That's, you know, that's our this whole 130-acre field average. This field's in Allegheny County, Maryland. This is our Black Oak farm. This field had drain tile in it, and it was so rough. Mark worked the field and we ran 45-degree angle to try to get some of our, yeah, it was really bad.
Well, it looked like to me that, you know, this soil would naturally drain off. It just won't naturally drain off. You couldn't get the water away from it?
No, we had a lot of problems. Like I said, this was a whole bunch of different hay fields we had here. And there was a block of pine trees the power plant had planted, just like those over there. We took all them out, made it one big field. Our pump station's up there.
So you pump out right across that, right over there out of the river?
Right out of the river.
Right straight here?
Yep.
See, we're 444 feet in the ground, aquifer. I got a 10-inch well that goes that far. It cost us a pile of money.
I guarantee
to
it.
irrigate. And that's like one of our trials. Like, your return on your investment is...
Yeah, but you got to have water down there or you burn up.
We will burn up.
Yeah, you can see it's kind of wet, that inch of rain.
But you know what, an inch of rain here, this is a lot better shape than my ground is. I get an inch of rain on mine, you wouldn't even walk, you couldn't walk out.
That's how we were before the tile drainage went in there. I mean,
really?
This is actually the field here that never got back in 3 years ago.
Really? So the tiles made that big of a difference for you guys, and it's just keeping it off right here.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you know, that you two know, or you three know, in your mind that, hey, I feel like we lack here?
Yeah, we lack your knowledge.
Well, I appreciate that, but we're going to help with that.
I think kind of talking what we were talking earlier there is being more efficient on everything, you know, instead of doing a nutrient dump up front, just spoon feeding that crop. I mean, the corn, it'll get adjusted as we go through the season, depending on where we're at on a yield goal at that point in time. Probably the same with the soybeans this year. My whole goal is to have as many forms and as many applications of nutrients out there as possible to still be efficient in that, because you're spoon feeding that plant more instead of just dumping it out there and trying to rely on it for 3-4 months out of the year, however long that is.
It's staged, you know what I mean? Like that's what we're finding out with everything, corn and beans, everything, you know, it's all about spoon feeding the crop when it needs it at a certain time that it actually needs it for something in production in the plant, whether it's vegetative or whether it's reproduction. Now I got to trick this plant to do this, and I need it to do this. And that's where it becomes like mind-boggling.
It's the little things, attention to detail.
You need 3 million things to go right. You only need one thing to go wrong. And that's all we're trying to do with, you know, with the Podfathers and everything. We're just trying to find not a silver bullet, but something that's going to work for us that actually returns our investment on the big picture.
This is really dried out for having the rain it's had on it.
Yeah, I can't believe that you've had, you know, you've had an inch of rain and you can still do this. You can't do this in my dirt. My dirt would be like, you'd be playing with mud. I mean, it's wet, but it's really dried out a lot. I mean, but this dirt is very similar to mine. It's crazy, you know what I mean? We got brown, blackish dirt just like this, and the ground's mellow. I mean, this ground looks like it's gonna be in good shape. You hit it one more time and plant it, and it's gonna be nice. So what exactly are you, like, what's your plan? You're gonna hit it with a field cultivator and then you're gonna plant this, or?
No, we're gonna run the soil ware over it.
Okay.
And wait a week or two and come back through.
Have you ever strip tilled soybeans?
No.
Wanna try?
Yeah.
You ready? No. What do you mean no?
We have the deep tillage shank on the Soil Warrior.
Yeah.
So we're running shallow tillage at 3-4 inches. It'd be a little different story, but when we're trying to put that tillage down 8 inches, I don't think beans are gonna like it too much.
So tell me about the Soil Warrior. Like, is there different things, different setups that you can get on it to do different things?
There's really two options. The shallow is more discs and baskets that are disturbing. I think that's going to make a very nice seed bed for planting into, but he has a hard pan layer here right about 1 foot deep. And you take a soil probe, you can get it down there, and there's a lot of resistance from that 12 to 15 inch range. And I don't think that shallow tillage is doing much for us besides making that seed bed. So that deep cog, when that wheel comes around, when we demoed the unit down here, you're getting fracturing down through the soil.
That's real soil right there.
Is that the real stuff?
Yep. Let's head back to the shop and...
You get me, show me all your tools?
Yeah, my tools.
Okay, let's go see them. We came up and met Grant and Caitlin, and we started to figure out that she has an interest in show cattle as well as my kids do. We own some cattle with KL Lemon Cattle Company, and I brought Kyle up here and spoke to Caitlin and Grant. We're trying to diversify some, so we're going to do some business with Caitlin. Caitlin's going to put in embryos in her cattle and contract them out to me, and then we're going to buy the calves back after they're weaned from Caitlin, and these will be our new show calves for next year's show season. What I'm putting in her tank are ones that she's going to put in her cattle. She's going to set her cattle up, get them in the heat, and then she's going to transfer these embryos with a vet, and then we're going to go on from there and see if we can. So it's just it's kind of neat. At the end of the day, it's another business relationship. So we're starting to see, like, we have a lot of things in common, you know, all of us together. Caitlin took a liking to, you know, some of our kids, and our kids love her, and it's kind of worked out, you know. We're filling another void, and it's another relationship that we have. This one's a little bigger than mine. Good Lord.
Yeah, it's got better seed in it.
Oh, we're gonna go with the seed thing already. Well, didn't you bring enough to put in the back of my truck to take home?
I'll fill it up so you can handle it.
Okay, I can handle it. I can handle it. Carbon fiber booms.
Yeah.
How you like them?
At first I didn't. But
What was the trouble?
looked like a goose going out to the field.
Flapping.
Yeah. But they put a dampener, a hydraulic dampener back on the back.
Because this is the same one that we have, but we don't have the carbon fiber booms. How much lighter do they say that the carbon fiber booms are over the other booms?
I think it's like 1,000 pounds.
Really?
But it's the weight distribution.
Because it hangs off the back so far.
Well, they say, well, no, that's the same. But they say with the carbon fiber, the machine, its weight's distributed so much better.
So it's closer to a 50-50 than a,
Yeah.
was it like 70-30 on the other ones?
We were working on getting ready to put the floaters on, work on that ground we work, because I'm worried about rutting it up.
You've always had floaters for this one too?
No, I just got them.
Oh, you just got them?
Yep.
I got one of these and I got an older one. So I got the same thing. Mine, I don't have carbon fiber booms, no AccuBoom, and it doesn't have the direct inject. It's just a plain 120-foot wide sprayer, nothing to it.
Yeah, it's tight to get in this cab because I got to keep that boom cradle over there in the transport mode because I can't get across the bridge if it's out.
Because it's tight.
So tight. Yeah, that's how I guide it with my boom, just going across because it's so.
Does the combine get through there okay? Oh, it doesn't.
No, it won't go. You got to go over the mountain.
So you're coming down the side of the mountain with the combine because you can't get across the bridge?
Yep. Or go through the river.
Or drive through the river. How do you know how deep it is in the river? Do you got to walk it first?
When you go across the bridge, we got an island out there.
Hard part is find the rocks, and when you hit a rock.
Yeah.
What happens if you hit one of them sharp rocks out there and you bust a tire on the way over? It's busted out in the center.
Between the doilies a couple times, and we ran.
Yep. I have to take the skidder, wrap the chain or the choker around it and pull them out.
Y'all are fighting some serious challenges around here. Wild and wonderful, baby, wild and wonderful.
We want the bottom canopy to be healthy with a good fungicide. We use Revitec on it. It's really going to help that bean finish off strong.
But on our farm, we got to average a 6 bushel better with the Revitec fungicide than any other fungicide.
Probably absent of disease just because we've got the Revitec out here, but just mainly for the plant health.
The one thing that is a must, that's this product right here. Reducing stress adds bushels.
Here at Advanced Yield, we're not only just a consulting company, but starting in 2021, we are now offering a full lineup of select crop inputs. A lot of good foliar feeding options with a bunch of stress relievers. Anything that has been tested and proven on our farm is now offered to you at a great low price. No middleman, it's just a simple call and ship directly to you. For the farmer, by a farmer. Unleash your crop's potential. Visit online or give me a call today.
Ran the Copperhead Furrow Cruiser this year. Been very good, very happy with it. A lot more aggressive on the closing. We got so many different soil types. That's what I like about the Furrow Cruiser. It works in all of them well. And this is 2 seasons ran on this, and you can see virtual no wear at all. Just a simple addition to the planter for better closing.
Welcome to season 2 of Podfathers. As you can see, my pinky ring's empty, so obviously I didn't win. It's April 19th. We've been hard at it since April 15th on beans. We should finish up tomorrow with all the bean acres. We got about 4,000 acres of beans this year putting out. So last year at this time, we only had 350 acres of beans out. And we was shut down on beans till the end of very last day of May, first week of June. So having all the beans in the ground between April 15th and April 20th this year should be a great advantage for us. That's more of our typical time frame, but in the past 3 years we haven't had a typical time frame. You know, we're still too early. Mother Nature could wipe us out at any given moment. You know, with snow coming in Tuesday night, that could really play an effect to it. We're trying to do everything that I can to control the controllables to where we don't have to fight it as bad, so we're trying to play into Mother Nature's hands here
We know that it's going to be cold. We know there's more cold weather coming. So we're trying to plant the beans deeper than what we normally would, try to protect them. So as long as we don't get a hard pounding rain before then and we get some warm weather, I think we have a good chance of actually making it with all these. The problem is when you cover this many acres in one day, you have all of your eggs in one basket. So it's zero or hero. It's going to be, we're all in. So hopefully for the bean side of things, it will work out better than it did last year. The biggest thing different from last year, planting date, I can't stress enough how important it is to get the beans out early. That's going to be a huge advantage to us. Hopefully we get more rain than last year. Contest side of things, I got one of the fields at my house I was intercropping last year. We did something a little different on that this year. Maybe you guys will be able to get a chance to see that in another episode coming forward, but trying something new, something different. Hopefully it works out. I'm sure you guys will get a chance to see it. Currently we're planting at 10 miles per hour. We're holding an accuracy of 99.4% on the seed. Our population on this farm where we're currently at is ranging from 110 to 130,000. We're currently at 120, so everything is script towards the soils. So as we get into better soil, it's going to go down. As we get into our poorer soils, the rate's going to go higher. We're running 4 gallons of water in furrow with some Exalt and then Bella and then NewTek SIF from Terramax. That's a liquid inoculant. Going this cold into the soil, we've seen a great benefit from that. We try not to get too cute for it. We're trying to get as much activity as we can within the soil jump started, and especially when it's cold like this, it needs all the help that it can get. You always start out, so right now we're on plan A. Things are still not perfect, but things are good. Once we get the crop up and out of the ground, we get started. Now we're going to start thinking about weed control. What are we going to do for food-wise for them, feeding them on, foliar feeding and different things like that. But the first thing is we got to get them up out of the ground and get a good stand. So something different we're doing this year that we didn't do last year, once again because of the temperature and the weather coming in, we're not going to put pre-emergence down right now. So this year we're going to wait for all the beans to be emerged, come back in with a post-emergent, and that's where we're going to have all of our residuals. And for our weed control then, we're going to come back in with residua. But when you're planting early or this cold, so this is the same thing as, if we'd be planting in March because of the temperature. You just got to close your eyes and don't look at the calendar. But this tells me that a pre is not your best options. So we want to come with a post for the weed control. We don't want to hurt the germ at all. We want everything to come up, assess the situation, get the ground temperatures warmer, get the weeds going, and then we'll come in and knock them out and kill them. Wireworm, we got to be on the lookout for. Haven't seen them in a couple of years. Slugs is a big thing on beans. If you have cover crop, a lot of fodder, things like that. So the field cultivators, they're only running about 300 acres in front of us right now. We've got a good seed bed to go into. We run 6433 sunflower do-it-alls. We got 3 of those. With 20 intro corn, our biggest concern is can we get rid of the trash from the year before? So we're really concentrated on trying to break down the fodder from last year's crop to release the nutrients for this year's crop. So we got to make sure that we're doing a really good job of burying it, breaking it down, and getting as small as pieces that we can. Back to on the soil side of things, working ground, we're probably 75% conventional till, 25% no-till. So we got to treat our no-till acres differently. Last year we didn't talk too much about actually, working up the soil and different tillage applications, but that has a lot to do with the yield and what you're going to be able to do. If you make mistakes, if you're in here too wet too soon, you're rotting it up, compacting the soil, taking away the oxygen, that's something that you're going to live with the entire season. You can't go back and fix it. So you got to make sure that you do it right the first time. Whether that's no tilling, make sure you're not getting on it too soon, to conventional, to minimal till. There's just so many different things that you got to watch out for. So I'm in one of the planters, a junior or Doug McCauley, whichever one you want to call him. He's another planter. We're actually getting ready to join up with him right now in the other field. And then we got Cody is running the seed tender. My dad's in a field cultivator along with Shane and Poe. So we got 3 field cultivators going. So once I see that we're getting ready to rock and roll or it starts warming up, we'll get the sprayer out and going. So that's our full crew for right now. We've got a crew of 6 of us. So now we just moved fields here. We're joining up with Junior. So this is the 96 acres, shows me a map to make sure we're in the correct one. So now it's looking, it's found Junior. So it knows another tractor's already been in here. We're gonna join his work. So we make sure everything looks good there. So here's Junior's event, so we're talking back and forth. I wanna be able to join his. Just split screen, there's everything that he's done. So while that's loading, I'll go in here and go ahead and load. So we save the A-B lines for everything. So there's the A-B line we're on. Same one we used for several years. So now we're fully ready to go.
Corey's got the last pass in the field. We're leaving here. We're just gonna cross this ravine. There's 27 acres in this field. So we're, instead of cutting him off and both of us being at the wrong end, we'll switch fields and do this one. Let me get the computer set up here. So I'm the first one in here. I'm the first one, so I'll set the job up. When he gets over here, he'll have to join my job. Nice. He gets done the last pass there on his way up. He'll come over here across the ravine like I did, and he'll join all me, and we will be together in the same field, and both players will talk to each other. Today we're planting beans. Last field on this side of town. We've been started beans Friday. As of today, I've got 1,300 acres on the counter. So 26 acres it's going to be about 1,400 acres time we get out of here. We go south town. I think we're going to have about 1,600 acres of beans left to plant, and then we'll switch to corn. Well, my role on the farm is I'm farm manager. I've been with Corey's dad for 33 years. I've known Corey since he's 2 years old. Watched him grow up, worked side by side with him the whole time. We've had a good relationship with him, the whole family, the farm. So I'm just kind of here, you know, I do the planting, the spraying, the drive combine in the fall, do it all. Well, yeah, I grew up on a dairy farm in Canada. So I came down here when I was 19, been here ever since, 50 now. When I first come down, I think the operation was at about 1,600 acres, and I think we're up to like 8,600 now. So I've been here through the good times, the bad times, and wouldn't trade any of it for anything. So we got tillage on this field. So me and Corey we're about, I think we're about 3 hours behind the work ground crew. We got three crews, or 3 guys running tractors with 43-foot duals. They start, like I said, about 3 hours ahead of us. Time we get caught up to them. By the end of the night, we should be really close to catching them. So they're south of town right now, getting the next farm ready for us when we get this done. So they're, like I said, they're running 43-foot duals, 3 of them. Wider than what we are, but we're going faster than what they are. So, you know, eventually we'll catch them by the end of the day if we keep having days like we're having.
Goals this year is definitely to do better. You know, I'm disappointed. I'm very competitive. I don't like being last place in anything that I do. I just think that's more of a human nature thing. You're very competitive. But I will say this, you know, with this class of guys that's in Podfathers, I mean, anyone could win. I mean, so just to be in you know, the mix with these guys, you know, that's my goal. You know, I know getting the yields that they're getting is going to take perfection to do on my end. They're just better at it than me. I mean, it's just point proven. So I want to get better. I want to learn. So if I can be in that 125 to 150 bushel range, I'll be tickled to death. If that's enough to get me up in the middle of the pack, great. If I'm still in last place, so be it. I mean, you know, I'm more focused on what I can achieve here within my own operation, but I can't help myself. I'm just too competitive not to want to win. We're not going to do anything that's going to be out of the normal. You know, we got a great crew from everybody that's working, you know, with us to all the agronomists out there that's been helping us. It's not just one person. We all take pride into it. I mean, we all want to win. You know, the thing that cracks me up this year compared to last year is how competitive my dad has gotten now. You know, he's always been a very, very competitive person, even more than me. He said, son, I don't like losing. What do we got to do to win? So, you know, it's fun watching everybody on the farm, you know, as a whole. You know, we've been in motorsports our entire life. So it runs deep in our blood to not want to lose. We want to do good. We want to make a good showing. So, but me, I guess I'd be more of the laid back type, especially with the competition that we're facing. From Temple to Matt to Perry, I mean, all these guys, they're class A growers on every crop. So I got my work cut out for me trying to beat these guys. I just want to be respectable and be in the mix. The soil is the best that we've had in a long, long time. Planting conditions are perfect.
With the rain coming, you don't know what the right decision is.
What do we do best with planting soybeans?